Hey there, Fai Cheng here with the second video in the series on how to do no yuck marketing, how to do marketing or sell your products and services in a way that is, well, non-yucky, okay? So video number one, which got great feedback, fantastic, thank you very much for that. And I've addressed hopefully all the questions in there. And if not, just hit me up. Anyway, first video was all about basically your target audience, how to please your target audience, okay? The second video is basically about the flip side of that whole thing, namely how to please your bank manager. Because there's no point being a martyr and giving away good stuff all the time and never getting compensated in return. Because as many a coach who is a martyr will tell you, if you don't make any money, you have only very limited reach. So if you want to reach a large audience and make a difference, you're going to have to make some money at some point because reaching out costs money. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at the fundamental model of how to create or get to that point where you can actually make money, once again, in a very ethical way. And the best way to illustrate this is with a shocking, earth-shattering event that happened in 2007. So in 2007, we moved away from Oxford. After 10 years in Oxford, we moved to southern Germany. And there was one thing, the earth-shattering thing, and that was that. In Oxford, there is a wonderful little, it's a bakery type thing. It's called Maison Blanc. And Maison Blanc have this little gem of a cupcake. It's like a cupcake. It's called a citronnier. It's sort of a lemon-infused little cupcake, very, very dense, yet light. It's magic. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, whilst I live in Oxford, constant fix, constant, on the way home, very easy to swing by Maison Blanc. It was on the route home and pick up a citronnier. Now, when we moved away in 2007, of course, I was suddenly faced with an 800-mile commute to pick up a citronnier. So I went in there and tried to convince them, persuade them, bribe them, and nothing worked. Well, in the end, the head chef actually relented, and if anyone from Maison Blanc sees this, he didn't. And he gave me the list of ingredients. He didn't give me the proportions, but he gave me the list of ingredients. So let me show you a citronnier. Here it is. Aren't they gorgeous? Aren't they absolutely mouth-wateringly gorgeous? And they are, trust me. And by the way, a big thank you to Nicola, who works at, or is responsible for some kind of marketing at Maison Blanc. And I emailed her and said, hey, would you mind hooking me up with a picture? And 10 minutes later, I had a picture of a citronnier. So Nicola, if you can see this, awesome. Thank you very much. So I had the list of ingredients, not the proportions, and I spent the next half year, A, getting fatter and fatter, and B, going through dozens of combinations of the main ingredients, okay? So the main ingredients are butter, eggs, flour, semolina, and almonds. Now, I don't know how many dozens of variations I've put together. I never managed to recreate this thing. The vast majority of them were rubbish. Quite a few were nice. But none of them were as stellar as the original, namely the citronnier by Maison Blanc. So, where's the connection between citronniers and creating this one thing where you start making money quickly and effectively whilst doing ethical marketing? And it's all got to do with momentum. Okay, think about it. If you start with a recipe where you have pretty much a good standard, you know what's working, then you're already on the right track. And then it's very easy to make small modifications. Do I use a little bit more lemon, a little less lemon? Do I use a little more almond or less almond? Okay, keeping everything else the same, you vary one little component. Whereas if you start with, I've got this mix of things. I've got a website here, I've got a traffic source here, I've heard I'm supposed to use social media, some video marketing, I've got all this kind of stuff, and you have no idea how to mix it all together, well, you're never going to get any momentum. You're basically stuck. Now, maybe a real-world application of this, or an example from marketing and selling, is coaching. There's a gentleman called Frank Kern, and he came out with this model. I mean, he didn't invent it, but he kind of popularized it, and suddenly it was mainstream everywhere. And where he said, I've got this coaching offer, it might be right for you, and I've got a little guarantee here, and I'm going to take you to the next level. I'm going to build you a great business. I help you build a great business. And a lot of coaches in quotes, jumped on board and said, hey, I'll coach you how to do this. And unfortunately, they overlooked one key component of Frank Kern's original model, which was, if you have an existing business with existing client flow, then I will help you uncover hidden resources, hidden gems, hidden opportunities to create more value and create more money. Okay, so all these other coaches jumped on board. Hey, I'm just copying the sales letter, because that's what Frank Kern said. Hey, take my model and copy it. They just went in and said, hey, I'm going to help you create something out of nothing. I'm just going to help you with, we take a little bit of semolina, a little bit of social media, a little bit of egg, a little bit of whatever. We'll mix it all together and you'll make money. Yeah, BS. Ain't going to happen, okay? The key component in Frank Kern's offer, and I've seen only 2 people repeat it in the right way, where they said, if you have existing client flow, then I will help you uncover hidden opportunities. And that is the key thing. So basically, you need to have a model where you have momentum, where you have clients coming in, where you have an existing base upon which you can do the small variations. Now can test a video sales. There's no point testing a video sales letter versus a long form sales letter when you have no traffic coming into it. Duh. Okay? So with that out of the way, the citronnier out of the way, I'm going to Oxford in July. I'm cycling from here to Ireland, and I'm going to stop in Oxford to pick up a citronnier. I'm already mouth-watering, dribbling at the moment. So I'm going to show you the model now, which has exactly 3 components, and going to show you exactly how to put them together, so you get to the point where you very quickly have that momentum, so you can then start doing all these little tests that everyone keeps telling you about. To give you an example, Dan Kennedy has a wonderful newsletter, and when you get the welcome box, very cool, heavy, high impact welcome box, it says in there, oh, by the way, most members who pick up, or join our club here, that for the first 9 months, they just sit on the sidelines and watch. But I tell you why that is happening, because they have no basis upon which to apply all this cool stuff they're learning in Dan Kennedy's club. So I think there's a bit of fixing to be done. Anyway, before we dive in, and I'll show you that model, I want to pre-frame that with a quick illustration on the 2 markets that are out there, in my opinion. Okay? And this concept from personal development helps illustrate this. And when I say personal development, I do not mean going to expensive seminars, £20,000, and then doing a lot of visualizing and none of that ever materializing apart from 2 or 3 people, or for 2 and 3 people. This concept from, I'm going to illustrate here, basically comes from brain research. How does the brain function? And it's all got to do with how we solve problems. And what you'll find is there are basically 2 very distinct groups, and you can quickly identify them in your market. And one is a great group to target as customers, and the other one isn't so great. So let me illustrate. The one is the T group, and the other one is the A group. And what this is, it's basically how we solve problems. These guys, the T, are facing a technical challenge, whereas these focus or have an adaptive challenge. Technical, adaptive, what's all that about? Okay. A technical challenge is if someone goes out and says, I've got a problem, I've analyzed it, and I know exactly what I need to do, but I'm not quite sure about this one step here. And they go and learn about it and go, awesome, now I can go and solve that problem. An example would be in weight loss. Okay, someone might not know that beer contains more calories instead of than apple juice. So once they figure that out, it's like, what's the drink with the fewest calories? They can then go drink that drink and as a result lose weight. And that's how they approach problems. They are aware of what the problem is, they have looked at it, and they're aware of the underlying reasons. They tackle the reasons and they're done. And they move on to the next problem in their lives. Now the beauty of this our target audience is that they need help, they like to have help because they've realized that they can't figure it out all themselves, so they come to you, to an expert who helps them solve that problem. They solve that problem and they basically take action and get results. And when they get results, they're happy with what you've provided and they may come back if you can solve another problem for them. Which brings us to the other target audience, the adaptive challenge. Adaptive challenge is when you are not aware of what's going on and you are now basically at the mercy of your brain. So how does the brain work? I'm not going to have a whole lecture on how the brain works, but basically there is the good old fight and flight syndrome, okay? The effect where if you're faced with an imminent danger, you just want to go run away or solve that problem. You either run away from the saber-toothed tiger or hit it over the head so it doesn't come and eat you, okay? And that's exactly what's happening here with the people who have an adaptive challenge. Let's look once again at weight loss. So someone who is sitting there and they're not aware why they're struggling with weight loss. You know, one of the common reasons, or probably the most common reason for lack of progress with weight loss is underlying stress. So if you're not aware that you need to tackle your underlying stress first, you can do all the dieting in the world. Okay? It's never going to help you, because once you've lost the weight and the stress is still there, well, you know, you're just struggling to go back up there. So these are the kind of people who then go, right, I've got a real problem here, and now here's the solution that promised me instant weight loss. And they go, instant means short term. Okay, this is, I've got a problem here, I want to lose weight, here's the solution right there, let me hit that button and the problem goes away. And yeah, in many cases it does go away for a short while and then comes back because they haven't solved the underlying problem. The problem with this target audience is that they tend to look very short term. And by the way, this is nothing where you go, boo, you know, this is bad or anything. Not at all. It's just they haven't develop the awareness of what the real underlying problem is. And that's why it's called an adaptive challenge. This is the true essence of personal development. When you basically, you know, here's your awareness of where you are, whatever, and you suddenly make that quantum leap and you're at the next level. And you go, okay, now I have a different perspective. I can look at the problem from a different perspective and solve that problem now at a technical challenge or technical level as opposed to an adaptive challenge. Okay? The problem is always solved, truly solved, once you've understood how it works, and now you can use techniques to go and solve it. So all these programs, like weight loss programs out there, they all show you techniques, but they don't show you how to adapt the mindset. Anyway, the big problem with the adaptive mindset is that it's very short-term focused, simply because that's how the brain is hardwired. Okay? There's nothing bad about it, it's just that's how we function. And when it's very short-term oriented, it tends to be like, take a little bit of action, see there are no immediate results. You know, long-term results are not on our saber-toothed tiger radar. We need to solve this problem now. So don't get immediate results and see another promise like, okay, if you do this instead of that diet, then, you know, this is how you're going to solve the problem, and then they're off. And as a result, never take any real action, never follow through, don't get results, and therefore are very likely to come back to you for more results. Having said that, there is plenty of money to be made in weight loss market, okay? If that is your desire, then so be it. All I'm saying is when we look at the momentum creating model, or the model that creates the momentum the fastest and then maintains that momentum, it is, in my opinion, advisable to stick to any market that has technical challenges, which may well include a quantum leap, where someone says, I am aware that I need a quantum leap. Please help me with this. Please help me, give me some coaching, let me have that insight so I can move up there and then move on, and then I can apply the technical challenges. Okay? Alrighty, let's do some magic wiping, and then we're going to look at the momentum building model. Momentum building model, trademarked by now. Alrighty, let's have a look at the momentum building model. And before we do that, or in order to understand why this is so powerful, let's look at the reality of how most people do it, okay? The reality for most small business owners, and I would say there's about 95% of them, is like this. They go and chase some orders. They fill the pipeline. And they go, oh, God, I need to fulfill them, otherwise I get really annoyed customers. So quickly, fulfill. And then go, oh God, I spent all this time fulfilling my orders, I need to get more customers. Go and chase some customers. And go, oh, and so on and on and on, okay? So it's basically this never-ending boom or bust cycle. And I've had clients where when I did consulting with them, the only time they could spare was 10 o'clock in the evening, and we did our session there, whilst they are fulfilling an order. In this case, they were like ironing little emblems on t-shirts, which they had to deliver the next morning. That is the reality for most business owners. Well, we definitely don't want that. We want to get to a point where we basically build on the previous success, build on the previous success, build on the previous success, and we can kind of get more orders in whilst we're fulfilling orders, and we can fulfill orders whilst we're getting more orders in. That kind of, a sort of never-ending cycle of almost automatically getting leads in. Because when we've got this kind of model, then we can start working on our business as opposed to in our business. I'm sure you've heard this. Michael Gerber coined this term. You need to work on your business, which basically means you need to systematize certain things, you need to outsource, you need to delegate certain things, so you can start thinking about new traffic sources, new offers, new products you can create, as opposed to constantly going, oh my goodness, I've got all this work to do, let me quickly do the work. And that is this model, and we want to get to this, where we can start working on our business. So, what is this magical model? Well, the model is the top model. It's a term my two boys, when they were like 6 or 7, brought home. And they went, there's a top model, there's a top model. And it was like, looking out of the car, I was like, okay, there's a lady with, they use the term top model for ladies with long blonde hair, short skirts and high heels. Don't ask me what they learn in school these days, but it's kind of embarrassing when you're going through town with a 6-year-old who goes, look, there's another top model. Anyway, we have got the top model, and that is the one that lets us build upon previous successes instead of the boom and bust cycle. So T-O-P. And all we need is a product of hopefully great quality, an offer that tells people about that great product, and traffic, as in people who see the offer and then buy the product. That's it. Okay? At a fundamental level, that's all we need. Now, let me give you a little quote I found on the BBC, and it's all about the tablet wars, Samsung versus Apple and a few other competitors. So here we go. It's very difficult for consumers to tell the difference between these products, but what does make Samsung stand out is the fact that they're prepared to carpet bomb marketing with an eye-watering budget, which effectively marginalizes some of the other companies trying to get into the tablet space. 2 super important points there. First one, in today's age where everyone can hop onto the internet, just whip out a mobile phone and do quick research, it's getting increasingly difficult to tell the difference between products. Everyone is the same. It's very easy to quickly go and do something like someone else. And the second one is there is always going to someone who's going to outspend you in terms of advertising. Okay? These are big problems. If you're not willing to carpet bomb marketing with an eye-watering budget, how can you survive? Well, let's go and have a look. So the first point is P, product. Most people think of this in terms of, I create a product, I go and sell it. There's an underlying principle you need to understand to get to the point where you build on previous successes. And that has to do with another quote, but I found this in the sauna. No worries, no nudity going on. I was reading a magazine, a car magazine, and basically it turns out that BMW, the car maker BMW, makes 35% of all their sales using their branding alone. 35%, that's over 1/3 of all sales, are due to the branding. And that's exactly what you need to do. Okay? These days, it is crucial, unless you have the marketing power of Samsung, to basically build a brand. In addition to the obvious benefit of making 35% extra sales without doing any work, you also have things like technological advances. Google, search engines, are increasingly rewarding brands. They're looking for signals that tell you that this guy or this gal is clearly a brand. And when I say brand, this could be you as a person, but it also could be a brand you're setting up, a company website you're setting up. But it's very, very important these days that every product you create, everything you do, every problem you solve, ultimately supports your brand. If it's something outside, if it even harms your brand, you're going to get, you're not going to get the benefit of those extra 35%. You're not going to get the benefit of Google recognizing you as a brand and then therefore showing your sites more often. And of course, you have that whole carpet bombing thing. Okay, if you're a brand and you are unique, and that is basically what all this branding thing is about, people trust you, then you're going to have to go and find that giant budget to carpet bomb the market. And who wants to do that? I also have a wonderful little trick I'm going to show you later when it comes to building brands, and it's ideal when the brand you're building is you. Okay, if you're a coach, if you are providing a service, anything that is about you, where people buy from you, there's a wonderful way of turning branding around and have a huge effect. Alrighty, I'll make some space and we move on to the offer part. Offer, at a fundamental level, is what people associate with, direct marketing. So the idea of direct marketing is basically you make an offer, you write, here's my cool stuff, go buy it. There's a call to action, all that kind of stuff. And you and I, we are in direct marketing. We don't do brand building in the sense of Samsung. We are actually getting people to take action. And in this taking action process, what you'll find is that a lot of people use sales psychology. And then the essence of direct marketing is that you test different options, okay? So for example, I have an offer that has one call to action at the end, and then I can test that against another call to action. Call to action 1, call to action 2. Or I could do a headline. Headline 1, headline 2, okay? And all of this obviously takes a lot of time. So we want to get to a point where we don't have to spend all this time. Now, let me give you the fundamental principle of all of this here. And that is this. In the good old days, you used to go to the corner store and people know you, okay? And sales happened because you know people. There's kind of engagement and, boom. So then time advanced and sales was kind of, the salesperson comes in and talks to you. A good salesperson will come and, basically look around your office and go, oh, you are clearly into studio lights. Wow, I've got studio lights too. Okay, a bit cheesy, but you get the idea. You find commonalities between people and you resonate on that level. And when you resonate, it's much easier to make a sale. So really, sale is about trust, it's about relationships. All right. Now, the big problem is with the internet or any direct marketing where you send out stuff is you can't look into my office. You have no idea what these lights are. Okay, I can show you later, but you cannot come to me and say, oh, I really like your lights. Oh, look at the black frame around or whatever. So you now have to create basically the reverse situation where people come to you. I hope that's clear, okay? Basically, everything is now about attracting the type of people who look at you and say, oh, what have you got there is exactly what I like. So previously, you had to go to me and say, oh, you are like me because you have lights. Now you have to basically position something over there and I come to you and say, what you've got there in your offer, that's exactly what I want. That you are like me, I trust you. I want to build a relationship with you. So that is the essence of putting out offers. Now and this is the writer downer. This is where most people get this wrong, okay? I've just been on a coaching call with Norm, and Norm showed me his website, that got a great video on there, etc., etc. But it wasn't quite clear who the target audience is. And that is exactly what's happening here. A lot of people go out and say, look, I'm going to design a website and I'm going to do whatever, do video marketing. And then I'm going to get people on my email list and etc., etc. The problem is they have no idea what to put on their website, how to design a website. Why didn't they know? Because they have no idea what the people or their prospects really want, what problem they're solving. So the one thing most people overlook is that they're putting the content before the context. Okay? What you want to do is context before content. And this pen is dying, so goodbye. Context before content. Until you know exactly what problem you're solving, until you know exactly why people are attracted to you. And by the way, a little hint here, being authentic. Okay, that is like one of the most powerful concepts you can have. But until you know why people come to you as opposed to someone else, why you are unique in their eyes. You love me because I wear a black shirt, for example. You hate people with green shirts. Whatever it is. Until you know that, there's no point putting out content. I see this all the time. People go, but what do I write in my autoresponder sequence? I don't know what to write. People go and do article marketing and they go, well, I have no idea what to write. I'll go and hire someone to write articles for me. I'll hire someone to do YouTube videos for me. It's a complete and utter waste of time. Any response you're getting from that kind of content is statistical. Yeah, it's random. Because some people will always click, or because you randomly stumbled upon someone who likes that stuff. It is not by design. And here's the big problem, okay? This is the momentum part. When you put out a piece of content and it gets sort of random response, first of all, you're starving in the dark. You have no idea if you're now reaching... This model is about finding out what people want, the big problem-solving proposition, telling them about it, and then they go and buy it, okay? If you don't know whether it's the right value proposition or problem-solving proposition, if it's the right message for that market, it resonates with them, you are starting in the dark. And what happens is you get very little success. So you jump back and do another one. You do, look, let's do video marketing. Oh, that didn't work. Well, let's try something else. And you never build up that momentum. You never develop that one system that works consistently, okay? So the one big secret of doing your offer is to get the context right, to get a full understanding. And I know it sounds like work, doesn't it? Terrible. A complete understanding how not only how your market works, and that is, by the way, not set in stone, we'll get to that in a second, but also how they respond to you, why they are coming to you and not Samsung. Samsung is out there with their eye-watering marketing budget, and still they're coming to you. Alrighty. This context before content is tied very closely to something I call the power of one. Okay? In today's day and age, with Samsung out there and carpet bombing us with their big advertising budget, you need to stand out as a brand over there, as a unique something. You have unique qualities why people come to you. And the most important thing is that you basically want to focus on one thing only. You are known in your market for the one thing. Even if you offer other stuff on the back end, on the front end, the face of everything is the one thing. And you take that level or that concept of the power of one to everything else you do. For example, when you go out and you build a marketing campaign, a little system here, you want to basically take that one system and refine it until it provides a positive ROI. Too many people go in, they try something out and they go, right, I'll do some video marketing. Well, that didn't work. Okay, I'll try a little bit of article marketing. Well, that didn't work. I'll put an ad in the paper. Well, that didn't work. Every time you do that, you basically destroy momentum. You jump back to square one and like, okay. So very, very important, the power of one. Go and optimize one website for one product or one problem-solving proposition for one type of traffic until you figure out, okay, this is the kind of system that gives me positive ROI. That gives me enough. I put $1 in and I get X dollars out. So that is context before content, the writer downer for the offer part. And now let's do a bit of traffic. And basically with traffic, there are far too many things we need to talk about. So I'm going to focus on one particular one, okay? And that is basically you need two traffic systems. Most people think, traffic, I'll go to Facebook, I'll put some PPC ads out there, content network, in the paper, I do JVs, etc., etc. No one cares. No one cares what the traffic source is, as long as it is a traffic source who resonate with your message about your product, and they actually have this problem, if you like. But you need two traffic systems, and here's why. Once again, building momentum. Most businesses, once again, this is consulting with lots and lots of little businesses, online and offline, basically do one-shot offers. They get traffic in and they sell something. Now, you and I have heard this thing that it's 20 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to retain one and sell something else. Yet most people go and constantly fill their sort of pipeline, if you like, with lots of money to acquire first-time customers and then don't do anything with them. And really what you want to get to is the point where you do a little bit of expensive outbound, Samsung competing outbound marketing, and quickly over time reduce that and instead build up your second traffic system, which is referrals. Referrals, back-end sales, repeat purchases, that kind of thing. And tell you what, most people absolutely suck at this. It's not enough to, from time to time, go, hey, who can you think of who are good referrals? You need to build a proper system for doing this. And the moment you've got this, you no longer have to rely on the expensive incoming traffic, but you can also, now complement this with the, automatically happening referral system on the, on the inside, if you like. So this is external traffic, this is internal traffic. There are a number of reasons why this will help you build momentum. The first one is, when you've got something like this in place, you have a constant stream of traffic coming in, okay? Even when you're fulfilling orders, there will be more people knocking on the door. The second one is, and that is the classic, working in your system, in your business as opposed to on your business. If you're now no longer having to worry about more people knocking on the door because it's happening automatically, you can start taking away some time, which normally would be spent on driving traffic or generating traffic, and you can now start working on your business. And that builds momentum, obviously. The second one is that, like I said earlier, developing a new traffic source is probably the most expensive thing, and not only in terms of money, but also in terms of time. Because when you start a new traffic thing, you don't know if that traffic source is going to resonate with your message and is it going to buy your stuff. They may well resonate with this here, free beer, but they're not going to buy your gin and tonic, for example. So developing a new traffic system is extremely time-consuming and expensive. So that's why I'm saying power of one, focus on that one thing. Once you've got that, and I'm going to put in $1 here into my system and I'm going to get $3 out, or whatever the number is, that's where the magic happens. So that's really, in a nutshell, what this whole thing is about. You basically go from here to here. You have a great product where you build a brand. The brand gives you extra leverage in terms of repeat buyers, not having to compete with other guys because you are like the brand. You can leverage that brand to figure out what people want. It's a repeat buyer thing. That offer then is going to resonate with the traffic. The traffic drives up your brand. You get more repeat buyers. You get that back end stuff. That is what builds momentum. Let me just quickly check. We've got everything. Ah, yes, there is one more important thing. And that is, I promised you in the beginning, we're going to talk about price. Actually, I promised you in the last video, didn't I? The big question is, when I've got a system like this here, I've got building my brand, I'm putting the context, put this here, brand, context before content, and over here I've got my two systems, internal and external systems. The big question in the last video was, how can you charge as much as you like? Okay. Here is the reality of most marketing wisdom out there in the market. People will tell you that you need to split test. Okay, and I totally agree with this, with an offer. And that's why it's so expensive to develop new systems, because you constantly have to test something. So you have to go and test the best price point. Fact is, it's stupid. Okay, why it's stupid in a way? Because there is no best price. What do I mean by that? Well, the price you can charge depends on your source of traffic. Your source of traffic will kind of determine how much your offer resonates with them, because they have a certain problem. And if that problem is serious enough and big enough for them, and the offer tells them this is exactly what they need, they're willing to pay pretty much any price. So to kind of put this into practice, you may go out and want to charge whatever, $50 for your thing, whatever it is you've got there. And you set up a system where you had a good message here and you've got a traffic source there, Facebook for example, and you're not getting any buyers. No one's forking out $50. Well, fact is, you simply have not found a good match of message to market. It's not about the price. It'll be stupid, and this is what everyone teaches in marketing, that you now need to lower your price or you need to test the best price point. Not really. you now simply have a situation where you've got a market that doesn't see the value in what you've got. And it's not a negative thing. They just, for them, it is not that important. So, okay, fine. I go and find someone else because truth is there's always going to be someone who is willing to pay the price because for them, that problem is big enough. So rather than take it as a personal thing, it's like, oh God, it's not converting, this is rubbish. Just go, fine. I just look at this as that traffic source is not what I want. Fine, I'll go and do something else. Which brings me to the final point. I think we're going to have to do some serious wiping here. Actually, I'll just tell you about it. The whole traffic thing, okay? Common wisdom is you go out and find a traffic source like, for example, I don't know, this newspaper has a circulation of X, and therefore you should expect this much traffic. This keyword on Google has so many searches per month, and therefore you can expect that, okay? Let me tell you an example of a keyword that had absolutely wonderful search volume, like tens of thousands of searches every single month. Was it tattoo designs for men? Thinking about it, tattoo designs for men is guys who are looking for tattoo designs. And there are plenty of products out there you can buy, the sort of databases of different designs. Cool. So in the beginning, in my early days of doing internet marketing, I set up a website where that was optimized for tattoo designs for men. And then there was the affiliate offer. And guess what? I think I made like 30 bucks. Compared to the effort and time and backlinking and all that kind of stuff I put in there, it was nothing. It was just like a huge loss. Why? Because it's not about the volume of traffic you've got. It is more about which percentage of that volume of traffic resonates with your offer. Why am I saying this? Because most people, especially when you come online, they see this whole thing, SEO, search engine optimization. It's the holy grail of traffic. And it truly is the holy grail of traffic, and that's a discussion for another video. But then they go out and it's like, I found this great keyword, I'm going to build a site around this thing, I'm going to build a page. Once again, you're starting with content before context. That's what's happening there. You need to understand exactly what percentage of your traffic is resonating with the message. And then you can do all the SEO in the world. Then you can do all the campaigns, marketing campaigns in the world. But until you've got that context in place, you're wasting your time and energy. Alrighty, high level summary then. We've got the top model in high heels and short skirts. You need a product, and ideally you're using this to build a brand, simply because you cannot compete with the huge guys with a big marketing budget. Plus, you've got the real benefit of Google boosting you. And finally, you've got the 35%, like BMW, just free sales, just for being a brand. Cool. You turn all of this into, or use that as the basis for creating context before content. Okay, never ever go out and find a great keyword or have an idea and then create content, or because you don't know what to create, you go out and hire someone to create it for you. You need to absolutely have that one piece in place. But the beauty is, once you've got that one piece in place, you are now starting to develop a system where you truly create momentum, okay? Because everything else, every content piece you're creating is super easy. Every split test you ever want to do is easy, and you're laser focused on this one target, which is creating a money-making, $1 in, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever, dollars out system, which you can then, every time you need more customers or you need more business, you just put $1 in and out comes, a predictable outcome. And finally, in terms of traffic, make sure to view incoming traffic, fresh traffic, as a kickstart to everything you're doing, and then work actively on creating your internal reference or referral systems, which you can do because you're building this brand value, you're creating real engagement with other people. Alrighty, that's that. I've got another video where I talk about a couple of cool things. That's all going deeper into branding. It's also contains a few cool things about how to do branding right when you're providing a service, a product that is all about you as opposed to a big brand. Okay, cool. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know by leaving a comment underneath the video. What do you think? I'll speak to you soon. Bye.